Welcome to another video, the same every time, GCSE Maths, IGCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that, apart from the numbers, are the same every time. You can learn how to do them, recognize them, watch the videos, look at the repetition. It's the same every time. You'll know what to do. When you see these questions in your real exam, you'll recognize them. You'll get the marks, you'll get yourself into the grades. So we're looking at similar shapes in these particular videos. And, well, 2 exam questions. Let's see how we solve them. Right, this is pretty much what we expected because these questions are the same every time. Triangle ABC, triangle DEF are similar. Remember, in maths, this word similar actually has a particular meaning. It means that the bigger triangle is an enlargement of the smaller triangle. Each side, the length of each side has been multiplied by the same number, which we call the scale factor. So in this kind of question, our first task is to find the value of that scale factor. We need to find 2 sides, one side on the smaller shape, one side on the bigger shape, that are the same side in the same place, and they should both have lengths written on them. So that one's 18, that one's 27. So they're the same side. We need to find the scale factor, so we need to do the length of the bigger side divided by the length of the smaller side, so 27 divided by 18. And what do we get for that one? We've got to be a bit careful because we get a fraction answer here. It does make a nice decimal. It's 3/2, of course, but it does make a nice decimal. And I think a lot of people are more comfortable working with decimals than fractions, so I'm going to stick with a decimal there. So multiply by 1.5, that's our scale factor. I will say though, if you get a scale factor that's a fraction and it does not make a nice decimal, a decimal that stops, then you do not use a rounded decimal for your scale factor. You must stick with the actual fraction. But in this case, let's go with a decimal because, as I said, quite a few people prefer decimals, don't they? So we want the side D to E. So what they're asking us for is the length of that side from D to E. Well, we have this side, which is the same side, and all we have to do to go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape is multiply by the scale factor. So 16 times 1.5. And that will give us our answer for 2 marks. So we get 24 centimeters for that one. Again, I really do want to get these 2 marks. So I've written down my calculation for my scale factor. I've even written down my scale factor on the diagram there. I always do these arrows showing multiply to go from the smaller diagram to the bigger diagram, so that it just clears everything up for me, so I know which direction I'm going. If I multiply smaller to bigger, if I want to go the other way, then I'm dividing. And I'm writing down my actual calculation for the length of the side D to E. So here's another exam question, and it's the same every time. So the diagram shows 2 similar triangles. TUV is the smaller triangle with the T, U and V at the corner. XYZ is the bigger triangle with the X, the Y and the Z at the corner. Calculate the length from U to T. Okay, well, the first thing we have to do is to work out the scale factor. So we need to find 2 sides, a side in the smaller shape and a side in the bigger shape that are in the same place. It's the same side, and then we need to calculate the scale factor. So it's the bigger length, so 54, divide by the smaller length, 12. That will give me the scale factor that I have to multiply by to go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape. So always the bigger one divided by the smaller one. 54 divided by 12. Again, we do get a fraction answer there, but it makes a nice decimal, so I'm going to stick with a decimal for that one, 4.5. So to go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape, I am multiplying by my scale factor, 4.5. Now they want us to calculate the length of the side from U to T, so that's the side that they want. It's one of the sides in the smaller shape, and we can see that we have the equivalent side there in the bigger shape. So I'm going from the bigger shape, which I know the length is 63, going from the bigger shape to the smaller shape, so I have to do the opposite of multiply by 4.5, which is divide by 4.5. So 63 divide by 4.5, and that will give me my final answer. I'm going to reach for my calculator on this one. 63 divided by 4.5, okay, there we are, 14 centimeters. Right, it's the same every time, just be a little bit careful which direction your scale factor is going. That's why I always draw myself an arrow showing me that I'm going from the smaller shape to the bigger shape by multiplying by 4.5, and if I want to go the opposite way, I'm dividing by 4.5. I just put a decimal point in there, make it really obvious. Anyway, as you can see, these questions are the same every time apart from the numbers, so you can learn how to do them, practice, watch the video, see how it repeats. It's the same every time. So when you get into your exam, you will recognize these questions. You will be able to get yourself to the answer, get yourself into the marks, get yourself into the grades. Just be very careful that you do write down some working out though. Of course we could do the whole thing on a calculator, but that's not really the way that we should be answering exam questions. Thank you very much for watching. If the video was useful, then please press the like button. Also press the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything and it's useful to us. I will return next time.